Hi guys, so we're going to talk a little bit about slope. So if we want to find slope of the graph indicated things, then we can do exactly what we were doing in the other video. There's a point here and there's a point here that line up with 2 and the negative 1. And so now all we have to do is count. So we go up 1 over 1, 2. So our rise is 1, our run is 2. The slope here is 1/2. Okay. Once again, if we were to do this, so another thing you can do, this is obviously the same picture, but they did it differently. This goes up 4, this goes up over 8, so if you go 4 over 8, you can see that they get 1/2 as well. So it's still the same thing if we have the slope 4/8 or 1/2. You can simplify and you'll be just as right. Usually they will simplify, or you will simplify though. The slope can also be found using a slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so if I wanted to find the slope of a point passing through -2, 4 and 3, -4, I could simply plug those in. What I'm going to do, my only recommendation is whatever you choose to be your y1 and your y2 or y1 and x1, just make sure that they line up vertically. So for instance, I'm going to say this is my y2, so this has to be my x2. So notice that in the formula they're right on top of each other. So I have 4, and then I have -2, minus, minus, and then the other two go -4 and 3, and I put parentheses so I don't mess up the signs. This is plus, so this is 8. -2 minus 3 is -5. And this is my slope because it does not simplify. So it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you line them up correctly and have the right ones with each other. Slopes of horizontal lines. So if you have y is equal to b, then this is a line that looks like this. It has no slope. And the reason we know is because there's no x value, so x times must be multiplied by 0 to have that happen. And if you have x is equal to a, which is a vertical line, then m is undefined. That's the other thing you need to know. Okay, we can't tell which direction, if it's positive or negative. All we know is that it is vertical, and we can't really do anything with that. Next, it says determine a line and parallel lines. So let's talk about parallel and perpendicular real quick. Parallel lines, m equals m. It's the same slope. They'll have different values for b, but they will have the same slope. And then perpendicular, if you have a over b, then the perpendicular one will be b over a negative. So, and the way that you can tell if they're perpendicular for sure is if you do a over b times negative b over a, and you get -1. Well, you'll see these cancel, these cancel. This is 1 times -1, which is -1, and so those would be perpendicular. So it says, we want to determine a line that passes through these 2 points and is parallel to a line with the slope of -1/3. So we know m needs to be 1/3. M needs to be -1/3. In order for this line to be parallel to the other one, it has to have that slope of -1/3. And so it needs to pass through only one of these points. So let's do that real quick. So we're going to use a different formula. We're going to use the point slope formula. And the reason we're using, where that comes from, remember you have m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, if I multiply both sides by x sub 2 minus x1, then what happens is I have m x minus x1 is equal to y minus y1. I've dropped the 2 subscript, but this is how you normally see the point slope formula, and this formula is the one we're going to be using right now. So let's look at that. We have negative 1/3. So negative 1/3 times x minus x1. Let's use 2. We're using negative 6 is equal to y minus 2. So we distribute. This is plus. So we have negative 1/3 times x plus 6, y minus 2. Which is y, this is negative 1/3 x. Negative 1/3 times 6 is 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So negative 2 is equal to y minus 2. Add the 2, and we have y is equal to negative 1/3 x. That is our line that passes through the point negative 6, 2, and gives us the following. Now, let's see. Let's make sure this passes through the point 3, negative 1. So we have 3, negative 1. So that means negative 1 is equal to negative 1/3 times 3. And this is obviously a question mark. We're just checking to see if this point goes into it, because it needs to pass through both of those, and it will. So this cancels. 3 divided by 3 is 1. This is negative 1 is equal to negative 1. And so therefore, we know for sure that this is the correct graph that passes through that point with the slope of negative 1/3 and is parallel. Okay. Determine the line that passes through the points, which is parallel to a line. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so here we go. Find the slope of a line that passes through the given points if possible. So if we wanted to do this, we'd do m is equal to, and we can use this. I'm going to use this one as y2 and x2. I just want to declare those. 8 over 3 minus negative 8 over negative 5. Okay, so if I go to solve this real quick, I just turn this to a plus sign. 16 over 5 plus 3, 8, 2, so m is equal to 2. That one is solved. And then we can do the next one. This is for 26. This one's 28. We have 4 minus 7. And since I put 4 first, I need 3 minus 2. So notice 7 and 2 are on top and bottom. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. 3 minus 2 is 1, which is negative 3. So that would be your slope here. It's pretty quick. And determine whether the lines that pass through these two are perpendicular to this or parallel or neither. Since I don't have it in front of me, I'm going to do this problem real quick, and I'm going to give 2 examples. So let's find the slope of this. This is m is equal to 4 over 6 minus 8 minus 5, which is equal to negative 4 over 1, which is negative 4. And let's say that example 5 is equal to y is equal to negative 4x plus 7. If it was, then this is parallel to our example. Let's say that example 6, y is equal to 1/4 x minus 2. Well, this one's a little bit trickier. It could be neither, it could be perpendicular, but it can't be parallel because the slope is not the same. It's not negative 4. So if I do this, I do negative 4 over 1 times 1/4, which is equal to negative 4 over 4, which is equal to negative 1. Since I got negative 1 here, I know that this is perpendicular to example 6. So this would be perpendicular to our example. To our example. And then let's do the next one. If we did 4 minus negative 3, oops, nope, sorry, I did that wrong. 4 over 3 minus negative 5 minus negative 3, that's better. This is 9 over 6. 3 plus 3, 6, yeah, which is equal to 3 halves. Okay, so since that's 3 halves, that is not parallel. Since m is equal to 3 halves, that's not parallel to negative 4. That's not parallel to 1/4, or perpendicular to 1/4, right? Because 3 over 2 times 1/4 is going to equal 3 over 8, which is not negative 1. Not perpendicular. Not parallel. So it's neither. Okay, I hope this is helpful, guys. Make sure you keep doing what you're doing. You guys seem to be doing a great job. I hope you're all well. Take care.